It's a Wonderful Life, or The Parable of Potter's Profitable Paradise Lost. In this movie, George Bailey is rightfully charged with bank fraud for his practices at the Bailey Savings and Loan, because, in the state of New York, writing toxic mortgages is considered particularly heinous. George and William Uncle Billy Bailey, either knowingly or not, have lured the entire town into a false sense of security with an unsustainable and illegal subprime mortgage scheme. It's noticeable because it's a practice that's already crashed the U.S. economy once in this still young century. After you see the movie a few times, you realize that the Baileys were kind of like prosperity ministers stumping for a collective socialist utopia.
The word decent doesn't apply to me.
Imagine if the movie had stuck with George's wish. Imagine if George hadn't existed. Instead of super boring Bedford Falls, we would have had a movie about fast-moving life in Pottersville, a 24/7 party town where the neon lights never dim. When we see the streets of Pottersville, they are lined with casinos, burlesque clubs, and short-term loan places, each a testament to the free market's beauty. Here, Martini's Bar wouldn't survive on the Bailey's charity, but on sheer demand for enjoyment, proving that it's capitalism, not communism, that brings people together through their vices and virtues alike. In Pottersville, people live without the crutch of the Bailey's paternalistic oversight. In commie Bedford Falls, it was just a long series of boring, mundane, saccharine, Bailey-approved days. George Bailey's plans for Bedford Falls are to make it another boring suburb. It's a picture postcard for sure, but who could live there? What jobs did it provide? Aside from domestic help for retirees and the independently wealthy, maybe Bedford Falls offered a couple of jobs delivering newspapers and milk, but if Captain of Industry Henry Potter were allowed to fulfill his dream, I'm willing to bet that pool hall and those casinos would still be there and more. Pottersville already had a thriving gaming industry. By now, it would have had larger casinos, a convention center, and probably a baseball or football team. Backwards Bedford Falls, on the other hand, is heading towards prosecution for state and federal civil rights cases, as well as a full-blown RICO investigation for housing fraud. Believe me, in a lot of ways, you could say history has really vindicated Potter. There's 54,000 square miles of New York State. And let me tell you, it's all as beautiful as Bedford Falls. Believe me, why not allow for a flourishing city? It's a transportation and economic engine. Bailey's actions would have faced severe legal scrutiny in real life these days. His kindly mortgage schemes are deeply and specifically illegal. They could land you in a New York State pen for up to 30 years if you're convicted of bank fraud under statutes such as New York State's Penal Code, Section 187.25. Not to mention the likely federal implications of giving preferential mortgages to the right people. Seems to me Bailey Savings and Loan was in violation of organized crime and racketeering laws. For instance, they held the note on the property for half of a small city, but the entire outfit had the equivalent of about 120,000 on hand in today's money. Even like after 80 years of inflation, this alone sounds pretty sketch.
Was all this legal?
That's how much Uncle Billy just gives to Potter by mistake. Comrade Bailey's wonderful life is built on the shaky foundation and others' misfortunes.
I'm not interested in your book.
Consider Ernie the cab driver's life in these two parallel worlds. His life in Bedford Falls was a total fake. He had nothing more than the mirage of financial stability and marital bliss. It was all held up by the crony capitalism of the Bailey Savings and Loan, an institution so incompetent it routinely let an intoxicated man carry around the bank's entire cash reserve. Next, step into the mirror universe where Ernie's wife revealed her true colors, vanishing when the chips were down. In Pottersville, they knew the score. They lived honestly, understanding that love, like all things, must be earned, not handed out like the misleading loans of George Bailey. Henry Potter, painted as the movie's villain, was the only one with the foresight to see through Bailey's charade. Henry, a no-nonsense New York boss, had already overcome a disability to become the richest man in town before the movie even started.
I am going all out to help in this crisis.
He offered 50 cents on the dollar when the banks failed, not some kind of collective socialist dream where everyone just got as much as they needed to help George Bailey get by.
The money's not here.
Potter's vision was for a town where ambition and hard work weren't stifled by collectivist handouts. He understood that people need the freedom to indulge in life's pleasures without the moral policing of a self-appointed guardian, like Bailey. It's time to wake up from the dream of Bedford Falls and acknowledge the harsh reality. George Bailey's communism deprived everyone from experiencing Mr. Potter's dream. Every night could have been a celebration of freedom. They were denied a life of endless fun. Let's be honest, folks. It's time to celebrate pragmatists like Potter, who dared to envision a town where the party never stops. As far as the movie's story, well, at the end of the day, both of the already rich bankers have a lot more money than they started out with. Potter has the money Uncle Billy essentially threw away, and George has all the money from the people in the town, who are so kind they continue to give George cash even after they knew Sam Wainwright was going to take care of the whole thing. So George doubled his money. In which world would you rather live? Bedford Falls, with its thick coat of Norman Rockwellian-style sentimentality, or Pottersville, where each day is a stark reminder of one's own agency and the night a carnival of human desires? In a lot of ways, the movie is actually the tale of a decades-long fight between two rival bankers to decide the fate of an entire upstate New York town. It's personal. It's mean in every sense of that word, and so petty that even the land in the local cemetery becomes part of the fight. I can still enjoy this movie, but when you see it over and over at the time of the year where you've just incurred your greatest debt most of the time, you eventually start to realize just why this movie failed when it was released all those years ago. When I see it now, I mostly think about how much the world has changed, even since just the time I first saw this movie, 2 U.S. economic meltdowns ago. It also occurs to me that It's a Wonderful Life is the oldest multiversal tale that I can think of where people have doppelgangers in another dimension. So, thanks for that one too, movie. Anyway, as I leave you standing at the crossroads between two worlds, remember, in the end, it's not just where you live, but partly it's about how you choose to see it. Anyway, I'll see you out there. It's your buddy, Admiral Teague.